Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll go from there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Thank you very much. I want to welcome everybody out today. We don't have too much stuff on our agenda, so I believe it'll be a fairly short meeting. Can we start with a roll call, please, Joan?
Chris Mortensen.
Here.
Charles Long. Michael Schaaf.
Here.
Priscilla Benali. Here. Kevin Mitchell.
Here. All right, we have a quorum, so we're going to go ahead and proceed. First item here is approval of the agenda. Are there any questions, first of all? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second, sir.
Second down there. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Next item is approval of the minutes from January 27th, 2025.
Sir, I'll motion to approve.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schaaf. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Are there any questions about our consent agenda items 4A, B, C, or D?
No questions, sir. I'll motion to approve.
Okay, thank you.
D, D, E.
Second.
Roll call by Mr. Schaaf. Second by Mr. Schaaf. Roll call, please, Joan.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. All right. Is there any public comment today, Joan?
No.
All right. So the next item is the superintendent report, and I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Mr. Hyatt.
President Mortensen, members of the board, just a few items I wanted to update you on. They're coming up or they're happening now. First, I want to make you aware, obviously legislative session is moving. A lot doesn't happen during the first month or so. It starts heating up at the end. I wanted to make you aware of, and I forgot to write down the bill number, but they are advocating for a state school board again this year. It seems to still have as much momentum as last time. I think it made it pretty far last time. It didn't make it all the way, but I think that would be a beneficial thing for the school district and students across New Mexico, given the multiple people that have been public education department secretary under this governor. And so I don't know what that speaks to, but it speaks to bureaucracy and chaos at the state level. And so this might bring the temperature down and some consistency. This was not a part of our platform, but individually, or maybe we need to do it collectively, but that's something that I wanted to advocate for through our lobbyist for this. I think it was one of the things that we were advocated last year for. But if you have any concerns about moving that direction, please let me know. The other thing, there's a few other items here. Another one is Red Rock Elementary School is almost complete. We expect move-in shortly. I did a walkthrough on Friday, and I spent 3 hours looking at every corner of the building and letting them know what they needed to correct before we would move in. There will be some things that are taken care of after we move in. Obviously, the old school needs to be torn down, and landscaping and parking lots and things like that. We plan to do the dedication of that building after everything's completely done. The school is having some sort of a parent night in the near future, so parents will have an opportunity to come into the building and see it. But again, we'll do something more official after they get the old building torn down, and then we'll do a formal dedication. I want to give you a little update on our 6th grade transition. We had talked to you about 6th grade. Obviously, you approved them staying at the elementary school. And one of the big concerns was athletics. We've heard more about athletics than anything else. Most people seem pretty excited about the change. We made some decisions on athletics that we're going to have a 5th, 6th grade league across the district. And then offer volleyball also at the elementary level. And so we're going to expand opportunities for elementary schools and then have a league amongst our 16 elementaries that's throughout the year for those different sports. So this is a positive thing. We're expanding opportunities for students, and there's going to be a schedule for that. We'll schedule all those games and take care of refs and figure those types of things out. It's not an NMAA-sponsored activity, so we can do things a little differently. It's more efficient, but I think that'll help people be at ease about the opportunities for their students to participate in athletics. We're also obviously doing a lot of other things as far as scheduling and how those elementary schools will function at the sixth grade level. Sixth graders will have more than one teacher to start giving them the experience of having multiple teachers before they move on to the middle school. We also have a middle school committee that's working on how to revamp middle school so that we're doing a better job at that level also. And so we've had a few different committees working together to make sure this transition is smooth and is what's best for students. Staffing kind of plays along with that. Once we have the schedules of what that's going to look like at the elementary schools, we'll be able to better determine what openings are available and how staff are going to move around in the district to serve those needs. We did letters of intent, and so we are collecting the data now to know what teachers or staff is leaving, so we know what we're going to need to replace during this recruiting season. We did open up negotiations with McFew's a few weeks ago, and so we're in the process of working through proposals with them, and I'll have more to report later on with that. One of the things that I think I have talked to you about, we obviously had a presentation on it, a recent board meeting about the marijuana marketing to youth in our state, especially our community. We met with the governor, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, and she didn't seem to be super interested with the problem with marketing of marijuana to youth. It's very obvious what's happening in New Mexico, not only what we're seeing, but even online, what people can buy. They're not marketing to adults. And so since there was no interest when Mr. Schaaf asked the governor for help, then I am suggesting to the board that if it's okay with you, that we put together a presentation, and at least locally we're able to better protect our students and our kids in our community. We have put multiple students have gone to the hospital this last year due to eating things that they did not know what it was. It looked like candy, and it was laced with or had THC in it, and made them extremely sick to the point where we had to take them to the hospital. This is a big problem in New Mexico. Obviously, it appears that there's a lot of money, and sometimes politics goes by the way of money rather than what's best for our youth. I know we had some local legislators that pushed against those bills when marijuana was legalized because of the effect it would have on the youth, and how it would eventually be marketed to them, I'm assuming. And then there's some legislators that voted for it locally. And this is what happens when you don't put together good legislation and good regulation, and then you have a government who doesn't regulate it appropriately, even what they've allegedly set out to do to stop it from being marketed to youth, yet they're allowing it online right now. And so if they're not going to do anything about it statewide, then I suggest we do something locally to see if there's an ordinance or other things that can be done in the county, the city, to do a better job, maybe the Navajo Nation, to see if there's other things we can do to stop the marketing. They even do DoorDash for it in some counties. At least our county stopped that. The next few weeks and then into March, I'd let you know a month or so back that we're doing experiential site visits for our remaining high schools that didn't do an experiential site visit in the fall. This is our career pathway programs in our high schools. They get an opportunity to kind of showcase what they're doing in their school for their pathways. Students lead those discussions. Staff is also a part of that. Gives people a chance to go into the classrooms and see how things work with respect to career pathways and the connections that we're making with the curriculum into what the students are interested in their future careers. And so those experiential site visits start tomorrow. And I apologize, it snuck up on us. We were doing the mock interviews or the mock run-throughs on those, and then all of a sudden they're here. And so I apologize to the board for not getting this information to you sooner, but there's several over the next few weeks, and I'll let you know what those are right now. The experiential site visit starts tomorrow at Theroux at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you.
The next one is Thursday at Gallup High School at 11:30. Next Tuesday, we go to Navajo Pine High School at 8 a.m. And I'll email this to you also. And then Thursday, Sagai at 11:30 a.m. The last one is Tehachapi, and it's on March 4th. Mr. Bell, what's the start time on that one? 11:30 for Tehachapi.
What was take again, sir?
It's 11:30 next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
And so just as a reminder, we did experiential site visits for the other 4 high schools in the fall. And we wanted to make sure every high school gets this opportunity every year. Students get super excited about it. If you're at Gallup McKinley Day, you got to see a lot of our students from different high schools presenting in the rotunda at the Roundhouse. They did an excellent job. We're really proud of our students for the work that they're doing. Some of those students couldn't speak like that before and present in the way that they did, and they just did a tremendous job. I was really proud of their efforts, and a lot of people made a lot of comments about how well spoken they were, what a good job they did about presenting about the career pathways in their schools. So excited for them.
Mr. President, excuse me. Would this be something, sir, either Mr. President or Superintendent Hyatt can answer for me? Would it be possible, even though they are not in our official county areas, that we can attend, like me going from attending Sagai's or going to Navajo Pine for these site visits?
Absolutely. Ms. Benali, you are able to go to any of the schools. We have multiple people. Most of it's from inside the district. We don't have a lot of people from outside the district coming in like we did in the fall. But we'll have a lot of principals from the elementary and staff, and board members are welcome to attend. There's not like a set requirement for you to
Stay in our lane?
No, not staying in your lane. You don't have to register for it or anything. You're welcome to show up at any of those when you're able. You act like I've said that before. I've never told you anybody to stay in their lane.
It's not you, it's somebody else.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, for the record.
Lastly, I just want to make sure you're aware of, there was, the NMAA changed the ticketing process, and I sent you an email of how to get your passes for that, but the March basketball tournament starts on the 6th. That weekend it'll be away games, and then after that, the next weekend it'll be down at the pit in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho area. So just be aware of that. It's the week before spring break. With that, stand for any questions.
Any questions, board members?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, my first one is going back to the 5th, 6th grade, or the 6th going down to elementary. Just being among the schools, one of the concerns they have also is cafeteria spaces for lunch and breakfast. I'm just double checking, make sure that is fixed.
Yes, President Mortensen, Ms. Benali, we did go through that and reported on it recently, and I'll just reassure you that we do have space. There's going to be some schools where we have to do multiple lunches, but a lot of schools are already doing multiple lunches. So we assess the space, and there's plenty of space for us to use to have those 6th graders at the elementaries. And then the cafeterias, there's enough scheduling room to make sure that we're having different lunch schedules so we can meet all the students' needs.
Okay. Mr. Morrison, I just want to say that,
Yes, sir.
I think that's good to hear because, that was some of the, I guess, questions that I was being asked was, is our schools going to be big enough to house the 6th graders as well, as far as classroom size and everything? So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
there'll be two teachers per 6th grade for most schools, so there was plenty of room.
I just wanted to comment on the state school board, and this is just my opinion. I think going in that direction would really benefit in the area that we see a revolving door, and that's the Secretary of Education position. It's been, I think, almost every year we've had somebody new. There's no consistency, and everybody comes with their own vision, missions, and if it doesn't go right, the governor's there replacing them. So I'm hoping that having a state school board and that board selecting the State Secretary of Education position would be more beneficial for us. And I think I think they said it's 15, is that how the legislation's written? 15 board members, and then 5 are appointed by the governor, and 10 are elected through the state of New Mexico, correct?
It's something similar to that, yes. And then there would be a state superintendent.
So that's just my opinion on that. During our New Mexico School Board of Directors meeting, one of the things that they also mentioned during the NMAA report was there is an increase in boys volleyball, and then also, what was the other one? Something lifting, powerlifting?
Powerlifting.
Do we have those capabilities in our schools to offer both of those? I don't know how fairly new they are, but it sounds like they're new. And I do know, I think I saw Maya Mira one time being honored for the,
Lifting.
no, that was wrestling. I think it
No,
was
you
wrestling.
did powerlifting
They
also.
have powerlifting.
Yeah.
But I was more curious about the boys volleyball.
So, Mr. Mortens, Ms. Benali, whenever there is enough interest in whether it's a club or an athletics, something new, we always work to provide that opportunity for those students. Some things take more people, more students involved in order to pull it off. We've tried a few times, even if it fails, we've tried to do different programs at different schools. And if it doesn't sustain itself, then we pull it back, but we're more than willing to try again. And so if there's enough male athletes that want to do volleyball, then we're definitely open to that. We do have power lifting in multiple schools. Some of them combined because of coaching and things like that. So that's been happening for several years now. We've had some people that have done very well in that competition. So it doesn't matter what it is. Even the biking program is another good example that we started. It's grown quite considerably, and so we're willing to do. We have people come and ask us for different clubs all the time. And it's very rare that we would turn something down. It typically has to do with participation numbers. We make sure that we do a survey to make sure we know how many students want to participate, and then there's usually a percentage that actually end up they actually come out for that particular club or event or athletic event. And so it just depends, but we're always trying to provide more opportunities.
Mr. Mortensen, I know that they did mention, like, within the state, most of the boys volleyball is started off as or probably still is clubs, I guess. But they said that that was brought to their attention due to such high scholarships being given to volleyball. Male volleyball players going into college. So I don't know if when we're talking about surveys, I mean, if that would go out this year just to see how many schools within our district. Maybe we could just start it within our district and let them compete against one another and go from there and see what happens. I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Yeah, that's something that we could definitely do. We have to be really careful too. Sometimes, I think we had this happen at Tehachapi once. We tried to start a wrestling program, but then it was going to take away so many students away from the competing sport during that time of year. It eventually not enough students came out. But yeah, there's lots of things to consider.
Yeah.
But if there's enough
interest,
new athletes that want to come out to participate in that, then that would be a great thing to start. And we already have the equipment. It wouldn't take much to get things going. So,
thank you.
Sir, and the last thing that I wanted to mention, it's disappointing to hear about the governor and the issues you guys had to face at that time, but I think continuing to collaborate locally, especially within our, I don't know if the city hospitals are willing to help us in this area to do an ordinance, maybe just starting off with assessing what is really happening and what is being sold. I know they have the DWI programs, and all the prevention programs in our local area here. And then extending out into our communities in the rural areas, especially through the chapters. Because I think having, even a simple flyer or those cardboard posters or something that we can give to our chapters, to really look at what is in there, because just sitting at the table with our colleagues in the New Mexico School Board Association and showing them pictures on my phone about the baby's first vape and how Doritos has the same potato chips, but then it says medicated in small letters. And so they were really surprised at themselves of what's really being sold and marketed with the marijuana or THC attached to it. So I really would like for us to pursue that. And however we can help, let us know also on that area.
Thank you.
Mr. President, on the same.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
On the same issue, would the schools be willing to come before the city council and present the, okay,
100%.
Absolutely.
And the last thing I asked for, sir, is an update from.
It was the
Blue
last
High-
thing like 3 things ago.
That's the first time I said the last thing. Update on through high school when you can. Thank you.
Thank you, board members. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll direct your attention to the notices and communications down there with our calendar items. It's that time of year when spring break appears for the first time on there. It's coming. It's spring already, almost on us, and graduation won't be too far behind. So with that, board members, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
All right. And second down there, Mr.
Um,
Mitchell, let's get you on the scoreboard today.
Yes, second, and before we do that, I just wanted to thank one of our Pinedale chapter leaders that
Oh,
is
super.
here today, Mr. Raphael Martin. Thank you for coming and sitting in. I know you had mentioned something about you were concerned with Washington D.C. stuff, and hopefully, we'll be getting that on the agenda soon as we find out more. But thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
123.
All right.